Parks Commission. Would everyone please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? And Julie, you got this. We'll wait for roll call?
No, I will go.
Okay. Ally, roll call, please.
This evening. Commissioner Gant. Here. Commissioner Stolnak.
Present.
Commissioner Lubes.
Present.
Vice Chair Watson.
Present.
Chairperson Moda.
I'm here. Thank you.
Right, thank you.
We have two presentations tonight. Employee Spotlight. Jay O'Reilly.
Yes, Honorable Chair and members of the commission, very excited tonight to introduce you to our Employee Spotlight of the Month, Jay O'Reilly. I don't see Jay. Jay might actually be working right now. But Jay is a fairly recent hire, January 2022, hired to work in Rec Park Library as a rec leader at the clubhouse, but has promoted to being our clubhouse specialist. And Jay works a lot with the youth drama program, but also managing the front desk and just sort of all the functions of the clubhouse, all the activity there. Jay in particular has a really wonderful attitude and great work ethic, works very hard, always shows up, always willing to go above and beyond, and has just really grown. I've just seen a lot of growth in this person, and very, very proud to have this person on our team. In their free time, they enjoy playing Baldur's Gate 3, which I'm assuming is a video game, and watching Survivor, woohoo, and making beaded animals for their coworkers. So Jay often does hand out beaded animals and little gifts to their coworkers. So wonderful employee, so just wanted to congratulate them on their recognition this evening. Oh, there's Jay. Hi, Jay, come on up. So this is Jay. Jay, I just finished telling the Rec and Park Commission all about how wonderful you are. You can stand right there at the podium. So I was able to share a little bit about you, but do you want to say any words about what it's been like working here, or what you like working here?
I love working at the park. It's so much fun. I am in college, so it's nice to do that, do both of those things. It's a ton of fun. I love the camps, I love the kids, I love all my coworkers, I love doing the special events, so
Yeah.
it's been really fun, really rewarding for me, so
All right.
that's pretty much it.
All right.
Well,
Thank
good.
you, Jay.
Great to have you, and thank you.
Oh, and Jay, we do have a certificate that we'd like to present on behalf of the department and the commission. It reads, Certificate of Excellence, Employee Spotlight of the Month is presented to Jay O'Reilly for achievements recognized in October 2023 for the city of El Segundo. So, congratulations! And you don't have to stay, Jay. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jay.
Okay, and number two, welcome back, Christopher Henson.
Yay! So this isn't a formal presentation, but I did just want to acknowledge that Christopher has returned back to his position as park superintendent. We've been just absolutely thrilled to have him back. Though his team did a wonderful job in his absence, and I made sure to let Christopher know that it was very clear that he had well-trained his team because they were able to jump right in when he was out. They did a fantastic job, but we're excited to have this guy back over here, and I think he jumped right in and has been pretty busy. You have anything you want to say, Christopher?
Sure.
On the spot.
I gotta retrain myself here.
Yes.
It's great to be back. This is my third week back, and I'm moving a little slower these days. But it's good to be back. I've been out to see all the parks, all the landscapes, getting back into the trees and so forth. So I look forward to the future here.
Yay.
Great to have you back, too.
Thank you.
Okay, public communications related to commission business only that is within the subject matter under the jurisdiction of this commission. 5 minutes, please. Anyone stepping up? Julie.
Hello, I'm Julie Rochford. I live on Hillcrest Street, and welcome back, Christopher, because you have been missed. I am one of the women that helped take care of the rose garden. We got bugs. Anyway. Yeah, I want to ask the commission if they would, again, I hear, what I've been hearing is positive things about the pollinator garden and the old fountain. I hear positive things. And the gardeners took out the vegetation that was there. So it's almost ready to be planted, but I'd like some action, because we have some new volunteers. And with new volunteers, it's like a closet, like closet space. If you don't keep these volunteers busy, that closet space will fill up, and they won't be ready to help us when we need them. So please, let's move on it. We have funding, we have volunteers ready to take care of it, we have kids that are excited to see the bees and the butterflies. So please, that's it.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else?
Oh, yes,
Step-
you're
step-
welcome to come up and speak now.
Hi, everybody. It's the first time here. My name is Mike Lynn.
Hi, Mike.
Nice to meet you all. My wife and I moved to El Segundo about 4 years ago, down from San Francisco. We are very excited to be here. We love it. We have since invested in a couple properties, and we're setting our roots in El Segundo for the long term, and have had our first child here, who's now 2, with another on the way coming in February.
Nice.
We live just at Pine and Standard. So Rec Park has become our backyard. We have a little postage stamp backyard, so we spend almost every single day at Rec Park, and our daughter spends every single morning and afternoon at Rec Park at the playgrounds. We were very excited to hear that a renovation project is underway for Recreation Park. Prior to moving to the place we're in now, we were over on Loma Vista on the 700 block, and Acacia Park was the park that we would go to, which looks great. We were disappointed, however, in following the updates about Renovation Park to see that despite a $17 million budget being proposed, not a single cent was allocated towards the playgrounds in phase 1. Those playgrounds are in terrible condition. There's been a teeter-totter that was broken there with an exposed spring for about a year. That was since removed, and now for a few months, a caution sign placed on top of it. This is in the toddler lot where toddlers are running around. Very disappointing. So myself, along with 200 other El Segundo residents who all agree and have signed this petition, would like to see some investment in the 2 playgrounds at Recreation Park in the first phase of the renovation project. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Seeing no other public communication, we will close public communications and move to the consent calendar. Approval of the minutes of the Recreation Parks Commission meeting of September 20th, 2023.
So moved?
I second.
All in favor? Aye.
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 That's 5-0. There's no unfinished business tonight. New business, discussion and possible action regarding cancellation of the regular meeting of the Recreation and Parks Commission meeting on November 15th, 2023, and December 20th, 2023. Ally, go ahead.
Yes, so apparently each year around this time, the commission votes to decide whether or not you'd like to have your regular meetings in November and December. This decision is entirely up to the commission. As Chair Moda and I were speaking earlier, nothing precludes the commission from canceling your regular meetings And if something were to come up that needed to be addressed in a timely manner, we could host a special meeting as long as we posted it within the required timelines and all of the commission was available. So this is entirely up to the commission. I'm guessing this is because it's around the holidays and people tend to be busy, but again, this is entirely up to the commission, so if anyone has a motion
thoughts?
either way.
So I'm never a fan of this, just because I do think we have a lot of projects in motion. Is it possible, if we do this, to still get staff reports?
Yes,
So we could get an update on the staff reports emailed to us? Is that possible?
I think you can, we'd have to check, but I think you can still get email, we could provide, I could provide a monthly update to you. We couldn't have discussion back and forth on email with all of you, but I could provide an informational item, and you could call me individually.
Okay, because I do have the pilot for the transportation
Connect, yes.
going, and I know we could have a transportation meeting, because this doesn't preclude us
Right.
from doing that.
Right,
And so maybe that's my alternative. If you're feeling like you want to cancel these meetings, then I'll take it up there. But I would like to at least request from staff that we get an update on that pilot,
okay.
please.
Any other thoughts?
I don't really feel pressed to cancel meetings I'm not that busy during the holidays, especially November. That's just one day. And so I'm okay with December, because there's a lot going on, but November, I don't think we really need to cancel.
Dave, or, go ahead, start, go Dave.
So I feel like the decision to cancel or not should be based on what develops between now and the next meeting. My recommendation is that we potentially say we are opening to cancel it based on what happens between now and then. Is there a time period that we don't have to cancel it today? You can cancel it, I think, up to 7 days in advance, something like that. So I feel like if, for instance, council says, hey, we want, the rec park stuff to go through the commission, I'd like to be available to them. So maybe we wait to cancel it, and then you go, we don't have much of an agenda, because that's usually when it gets canceled. It isn't in advance. It's usually because, hey, we don't have anything this month. Let's go ahead and cancel it. So I prefer to do it that way.
Okay,
I agree with that recommendation. I'm
Yep.
fine with canceling based on what's on the agenda or not.
So what I'm hearing is that we're gonna let staff, Ally, make that call if we're gonna
Along with the chair, I think. I think the two of you make the call.
we can do that.
if there's nothing on the agenda, it's gonna be, give me a call. Like,
Okay,
Are you all okay with that?
Yeah, as long as, I just don't want things to slow down for 2 months.
right.
Because there's too many things in
Absolutely.
motion right now, and so.
Right, or you could
I don't
cancel
want-
one and keep the other on the, whatever you guys want to do. But so right now you want to, please,
Yes.
let Ericia jump in. She's
Please.
the pro.
If I don't lose my voice,
I
I
know, what's
don't know what's going on. Usually in the past, you would not cancel the November and cancel the December. That's usually been the past practice. That's an option as well.
That sounds reasonable as well. I'm open to that.
So you can still keep
I'm-
Dave's suggestion for November, canceling the 7 days before, and then going ahead and voting to definitely cancel the December meeting. That's 5 days before Christmas.
I'm gonna say that I like Dave's suggestion that we do them both if they need to be done, because if we have the rec park renovation coming back to us for any reason, or, I will be available, but I still would like to let staff make that call. If there's nothing on our agenda, then there's no reason to be meeting.
Okay,
Can I get a motion? Oh, that'll be my motion.
I'll second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I'll oppose.
Okay, I didn't hear from you. What did you say, or have you said?
Again, I have enough projects in motion that I'm worried, but I'll let staff decide, and we'll keep our transportation committee meetings, so that way, as long as,
Okay,
yeah, so I'll say aye.
4-1. And that is for both November and December, okay?
Motion, Bob. Your motion was to, my suggestion, which
Your
is,
sug-
we're
sugge-
open to canceling them both if
If
necessary, but if there's anything on the agenda, then we hold them.
that is correct.
Okay.
That is, yes. I agreed with you. Okay. Okay, we're gonna move to Recreation Parks Renovation City Council presentation updates. Ally.
Yes. So, Chair Moda asked that I provide an update on the Rec Park Renovation Subcommittee. So we did meet, was that last month? After the city council presentation. So we didn't take a lot of action at this most recent meeting. But if you haven't seen the presentation by the at the city council meeting, essentially the city council moved forward with prioritizing 2 of the projects in phase 1. So it's the ball fields. And when I say ball fields, I have to be very specific. It's Brett Field and the softball field. We are going to look at doing some internal improvements to Stevenson, but that project had a lot of complications. And so it was determined that because we have a finite amount of resources available and there seemed to be a lot of consensus that the teen center and the ball fields were the highest priority. So we're moving forward with bringing back an amendment to the contract for LPA so they can do conceptual, or not conceptual drawings, schematic drawings and construction plans. I'm going to be bringing that back to the city council on December 5th. LPA will be providing a very, very high-level conceptual option for moving the skate park, because we did review the meeting several times, and the motion was to consider that. I think we've heard from the commission and we've heard from the Rec Park Renovation Subcommittee that there isn't a lot of support on those 2 bodies, if I'm understanding correctly. But because the council did vote to do that, we are going to at least provide a high-level conceptual, this is what it could look like. I spoke with the consultant today. Obviously, the cost would be significantly higher if we demoed the skate park and moved it elsewhere. But again, because the council directed staff to do that, we will move forward. So those are the updates there. While I was going to bring this up during director's comments, but since I'm on this topic, I did receive the email regarding the playground, so that's something I'm going to meet with Christopher and his team about. All of the playgrounds have a life cycle, and that's best guess about how long that equipment will last. Sometimes it doesn't quite get there, but I have heard that it's a concern of a lot of the residents. So that might be something that we address separately from the rec park renovation. A playground replacement is pretty straightforward. I mean, it's a lot of work. We gotta, not like we just drop it in, but there's a possibility that we may be able to address some of those issues at the same time. I mean, we need to look for grant funding. We do get some grant funding that we might be able to use, because it's kind of smaller amounts that we wouldn't necessarily use for rec park renovation. But so that's something Christopher and I will meet with Christopher and his team and we'll talk about. So it's not completely off the table at this point. It isn't a part of the rec park renovation phase 1, but it's something I want to talk with staff about and then get back to the residents.
Great.
That's my update.
Thank you. Okay. We're going to go to reports of subcommittees. Aquatic Subcommittee.
We did not meet. The meeting got pushed out for another 2 weeks.
Thank you. Transportation Subcommittee.
We did not meet.
Okay. No meet. Youth Sports Council.
I think you went in my place last time and reported at the
Yes,
last meeting, right?
yes.
Yep. That's no meeting since. Recreation Park Renovation Subcommittee, you just
Just
heard
give
it.
that update.
So we can go right by that. Director reports. Ally.
Yes, so commissioners, I've prepared the written report for you as I do each month. If any commissioners have any questions on any of the statistics, I have all of the staff, well, most of the staff here, or they'd be happy to answer any questions or specific, if you guys wanted any additional details.
So you documented a number of things that I brought up at the last meeting when you weren't here, and I wondered if there'd been any action on those.
Which,
So, transparency on the field space allocation, was one of them. You have it in your report, I believe you have a list of the open items from last time.
Was it in,
in the commission follow-up?
Yeah,
Okay, so, yes, so I'll just go through each of them. So we are, working with the PD on the bicycle issue in the park. There are several people who are, in support of removing that ban on bicycles. However, there are also people on the other side who are very adamant that that remain. So we've been having that discussion in the E-team, and I know that the PD is looking into what are other local entities doing to manage this issue with the e-bikes, but not completely eradicating all bicycle riding in the park. It's a lengthy discussion. It's something that really PD is sort of taking the lead on, but I will definitely keep you all apprised as that moves forward. We continue to have an issue in the park. We had it today as we were, leaving to come over here. We did call PD, but, PD often is out on other calls. They get here as soon as they can. As soon as the kids see them, they're off. But, we also understand that there are a lot of smaller children that are in the park and want to ride their bikes, learning to ride their bikes and whatnot. So it's finding that balance. This is not, a specific problem to El Segundo. It's everywhere. It's happening everywhere. So, and then it looks like you wanted a follow-up relating to the brevity of the minutes.
right. So what that was about was, some folks had come and spoken in public communications and had asked a bunch of questions that, you had given answers for, but that the answers were not recorded. And I thought that for future, if people wanted to know, you very well addressed some of the concerns. And so and then there was some conversation about whether or not you were allowed to put that information in there, but, I was hoping that could be documented.
Yeah, so we did talk to Brandy did talk to the city clerk's office, so we can make the minutes as detailed as we want them to be. It becomes challenging sometimes, not as much with this meeting, but some of our other meetings. But if the commission would like us to show more detail in the minutes, we can do that.
It was more just that specific meeting because we were talking about the rec park renovation and prioritization, and people had brought up some stuff, and you had very succinctly addressed why certain things weren't there because of budget and things like that.
Right.
And so I thought that would be really important to just document.
So you would, I want to just make sure I'm understanding this.
It's just a specific meeting, the
So you
one
would-
on August 16th.
So you'd like us to go back and perhaps expand those minutes?
Yes, and
Okay.
just fill in the answers.
Okay, I
to the
think I wasn't
questions.
understanding that correctly, so I will need to follow up. We'll follow up on that.
And I believe Brandy has the information. It was just,
Yeah, of course.
were we
yeah.
allowed to put it in the minutes?
Right, okay. And then I gave you the rec park renovation, and then Raytheon, so I'm pleased to let you know we have met, or I haven't met, but the city manager met with Raytheon last week, or the new person at Raytheon. It looks like we're gonna be getting some more access to the fields. That they had their initial conversation last week, so I met with Daryl asked about, what kind of use, are we looking for? So I've shared that information, and I assume there will be some follow-up meetings, but at least Daryl felt very positive about that, so.
So my specific question was, because we had the little blow up with AYSO where there was multiple bookings for the same night at campus, and that there was some concern about field space, at campus in general, that we noticed that in the report that there was actually no reservation showing at Raytheon for the times that we were double booking and concerned about not having enough space at campus. So the request was to understand why are some groups not getting moved to Raytheon, if we don't have enough space, instead they're being told that there's not enough space. So it was really about, you know, it just didn't seem to make sense. We had a 0 for the entire month in reservations at Raytheon, and then we knew at the same time, we got, you know, 15 emails from coaches that were upset about campus.
At last night's council meeting, Council Baldino mentioned that Raytheon agreed to allow 2 teams at the same time on the Raytheon field, and that was a big breakthrough.
Yes.
But there were 0. I'm saying there wasn't even 1 reservation.
Right, I'm with you, I'm just
So-
adding that.
Yeah.
For which month are you? Okay, so I'm getting information from staff that there were 38.5 hours of private reservations at Raytheon in August.
Okay, because that was not what was on the original report.
Kelly, I'll start to review, I'm starting to review the numbers now in the statistics in the report. Also know that the change from Sean moved to Clubhouse, and now Rachel's taking over the sports area, and she is making headway with Raytheon. She has also been able to get some traction with Raytheon, so you should see those numbers improve.
Great, wonderful, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Ally, before we leave this section,
Yes.
will the bike thing, that's probably gonna go a long time, but will that type of thing come back to us to discuss? Or
I'm not sure. I mean, I would definitely bring it to you and inform you, but I'm not sure if that's a decision that will be left to the commission to weigh in on, or if it's gonna be at the request of the PD. I'm not entirely sure yet.
maybe just a recommendation, right?
Yes.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Not
so
a
when I
decision,
bring,
but and
right.
I'm sure we'll have many opinions even up here,
So
but
if I bring an informational item back, then you could provide, you know, an opinion,
And,
not necessarily approve or deny, but provide an opinion.
Okay. And with that, we're gonna move to commissioner comments. Commissioner Lubes.
So I've started to do my own survey of the fields. I just want to be very transparent about that. About 2 or 3 weeks ago, I drove by Richmond on a Wednesday at 7, and the lights were out, and there was no one there. And I just thought, wow, that's weird. We have this space problem, but yet it's a Wednesday at 7, and the lights aren't on at Richmond. So I thought, let's go by the practice field at the high school, and let's go by the Little League field. And so I just did those 3 fields. And so I'm starting to take some stuff, and there's some interesting things, like some things that we're being told aren't necessarily completely accurate. So I've done 4 nights so far, a Wednesday, a Tuesday, and 2 Mondays. The 2 Mondays might be a little bit off because no one likes to practice on Monday, but that idea that no one likes to practice on Monday is interesting in and of itself, because if we have a bunch of field space that's open on Monday, but AYSO doesn't want to use it, I don't know, I just don't want to, at some point over the next couple months, I'm going to show up with a bunch of statistics, and I don't want it to be a surprise to anybody. But I just decided to do it myself, and it's interesting, especially the Little League field in particular. On all 4 of the nights that I've checked so far, it's been pretty empty, that field in particular. So it's just, I don't know, I just want to be very transparent in that I'm just kind of, you know, around, and I'm trying to do it. I did one of them was too late. It was like 8:15, and so, but still the fact that there's nobody out between 8 and 9 practicing, you know, some of the older teams could be out there between 8 and 9 potentially. Right, but I'm mostly talking about the Little League field. The Richmond, that one night was dark. The other nights, there was 1 team on there. And anyway, I need more. It's anecdotal at this point, but it's just kind of, I wonder if anyone's ever done, like, let's physically go out there and check every Tuesday, Thursday for the next 4 weeks and see what is actually happening. So
To be fair, we have asked for what is the, like, for transparency on who's on what fields at what time, and who's supposed to be on those fields.
Right, and
With
that-
the reservation, because I've also heard that there are folks showing up and saying that they're with AYSO, for example, but it's actually some guy's club team that he's, you know, sort of showing up and using an AYSO reservation for, or not, and that's even worse.
And that's why I'm doing it with my own eyes, because the reservations are one thing, but if if they're reserving it but not using it, so again, I'm really just saying this to let you know that I'm doing it, but I'm not trying to do it
Yes,
subversively, you know?
so this is a really hot topic, and it's one that's very complex because it literally does take staff people going out, we're talking now at every hour to make sure, so Rachel has transitioned over and is managing this area of responsibility and has some really great ideas about how to utilize the software so that it is more transparent. What we had originally talked about is, do we just create an Excel spreadsheet that we post somewhere? That is incredibly it's just too much time. So Rachel's pretty familiar with Civic Rec, and we've talked about this. She's gonna get on a call with them. I know she's looking at ways we can get this information to the public. And then also address the issue with people reserving fields and not being there. And that's something that the Youth Sports Council is going to need to address. I've recommended this several times, that they pay a fee, and if they show up, great, like a deposit. If they show up, they have their practices, wonderful, but if they don't, and they don't turn the field space back in, they lose that. That is the only way we're gonna be able to fix this issue.
Please know that my main motivation is information.
Yes.
And then my second motivation is actually, just my first couple of weeks doing it, is kind of like to defend us a little bit. It's
Right.
like, all we hear is there's not a space, and city isn't doing a good enough job, and, and be more transparent, and that,
Right.
it's all good. Those are all good comments. But if there's open space that is available and no one's reserving it, or it's not being used, or the lights are out, which means, to me, that thought was, okay, the city didn't turn the lights on, which means there were no reservations. Now, I don't know if that's because no one knew that it was open, because of lack of transparency, or because there just weren't teams out there. But anyway, sorry, I was really just trying to say, I don't want to surprise anybody with it. I just want to
No,
be very open that
no.
I'm doing it, and that was really funny.
No, that's great. And we're addressing a similar issue on the tennis courts right now with a lot of reservations, and I'm getting complaints that people aren't actually out on the courts, and then other people aren't being able to utilize them. It's a little bit easier when we have staff on site during that time, but we do close checkout earlier than we have in the past, because we were having some staffing issues, and unfortunately, that kind of might be the direction we go, is that we start to have less staff on potentially, part-time staff that can go out and do that type of activity. So it's a challenge that we are working on, and I know Rachel has heard this, message pretty loud and clear, and Aricia has as well, and they're working on it.
Also, Rachel's really, as Ally was saying, Rachel's really well-versed at the Civic Rec system, and I don't think it was being used to its capability to really block out space or not block out space. So we were using paper, pen, doesn't really work because we don't have access to paper, pen all the way around. So now we can look at the Civic Rec system and see what's actually booked out and what's not.
And we're gonna be
So
putting
give
more.
us a little time.
Give us some
She's
time,
working
yeah.
on it.
She's
Okay.
working on it and putting more information, so it won't just say reserved. You would be able to see who reserved it, so we're on it.
And I'm not, like, this, again, this is kind of like just a hobby. Like, I was just driving by, and I saw it was dark, and I just started doing it. It wasn't like everyone,
Right. No, but it's important, and we know how important field space is,
It's a good hobby, yeah. Get a real hobby, Dave. Okay. Second comment is, I'm on the subcommittee for the Recreation Park, and I'm on this commission. I just want to state that I appreciate that the council is having you look at other options for the skate park, but I want to state that the result of this inquiry is going to be, yes, there are 3 or 4 great spots that would work way better and that we can build a massive skateboard. So that I'm afraid that the result of the inquiry is yes, but that doesn't mean that it should be moved just because it can be. So I hope that it's a 2-pronged approach to this decision, which is, 1, can it be? 2nd, should it be? Because what I saw in the council meeting was 1 council person who really thought that it should be, and the other 4 just kind of sitting and listening. So I hope that we don't spend an extra $1 million to move the skate park, just to move the skate park. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Stolnich. Julie?
So why can't you practice on Mondays? That doesn't make sense to me, why teams don't want to practice on Mondays. They should be taking advantage of that. And the other comment I had, just before I came, I saw in the Daily Breeze that there was an article about California legislators looking to move to restrict use of synthetic turf. because of health concerns. And I had brought that up when we were looking at the plans for the renovation, and possibly using turf on the fields or in the park. And I had brought up my concern about that with fillers and things. And so I was glad to see that legislators are maybe working, towards that. So I just wanted to bring that up, and then that is it for tonight.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Gant?
I just had a question, and it's my fault for not paying close enough attention. Did the aquatic fees recommendations go to council yet? Or I know you were saying it might be slightly delayed.
I believe it's set for this November 7th meeting. Linnea is working on the staff report right now.
November 7th. Okay.
Yes.
Wonderful. No other comments. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Vice Chairperson Watson?
Yeah, I should have asked this actually in your report as well, but we've had Julie come and talk about the pollinator project every month, and I guess I'm just wondering, what is the holdup?
So I was going to bring that up in director's comments. Is that your only comment?
Yeah.
Okay. So we are working, it's a little bit of a multi-pronged issue. There is a donation, or there is a donor, someone that's interested in providing funding for that project. However, we don't currently have any process in place by which to accept a donation. The only policy that we have right now is for the memorial trees, and I believe it's benches. Is that right, Christopher? So those are the only written policies we have. So in discussing this with the city attorney, which I do, I discuss everything with the city attorney, being still somewhat new, there was concern that we don't have a policy in place. And then that just kind of creates an issue with what do people get for what dollar amount, how does that work? So the city attorney is working on drafting a policy that would come to this body first and then go to the city council for donations for parkland. So it would be a little more broad. It would probably give me some room to make individual agreements with donors. It wouldn't have to be a one-size-fits-all, but at least there'd be a template or a document that the council has blessed that we could use to enter into those types of agreements, because they are agreements. When somebody makes a donation, they have a right and an expectation that they're going to get something from that, and our city attorney really would like what those things are to be very specific, so that it doesn't set us up for any issues down the road. With this particular donor and group, we don't anticipate any issues, but we could have another donor that comes in that we maybe don't know, aren't familiar with, and we need to treat everybody in the same manner. So that's the holdup with that.
I remember doing that for the bench project, and it took some time, but
Yes.
is there any chance they can have that for the November meeting?
I don't think it'll be in time for the November meeting, and I'm not sure now if we're having the December meeting,
Well,
but
if we had something to talk about at the December
then we
meeting,
will.
then we would have
Yes,
the December. That would be
absolutely.
a great thing to vote for at the December meeting.
Yes, absolutely. It would still need to go to the council. So that's the only, so, if I brought it to your meeting in December, it wouldn't go to them until the end of January. So. So if we have that draft policy, I think December is realistic. I don't think we'll have it for next month's meeting. And we just met 2 weeks ago, maybe. And I know that it's something that he's working on, but again, it'll have to go through the process. But that's where we're at with that, and I was gonna provide that update.
So is the donor the
Also.
one who wants the policy in place?
The city wants the policy in place.
So before the person gives the money,
Yes.
is the person willing to give the money even without that in place?
I don't know, but the city won't take the money with an expectation of something in return that's not ironed out.
What's the expectation in return from the donor? Is there an expectation of something in return?
Well, it's,
Like a sign or a name or something?
Yes.
That's what's going on.
Right.
I guess what I'm getting at is if the donor isn't looking for recognition or a sign, we could just take the money, do the project, and then worry about the policy later.
potentially, but I would still want to run that through the city attorney. I think anytime anyone
takes
gives money, we really have to be careful about what that money's for, where is it going, what's it intended for, and this city attorney in particular is very sensitive to this.
Any chance we could do the work and then get use the money as a reimbursement?
We
Is
could
there money in
potential-
the budget to do the work?
We could potentially do that. I'd have to discuss that with Christopher and his team. I don't know what budget is there specifically for what. We could definitely talk about that. I don't have any issue with
We're
that.
definitely feeling the enthusiasm and
Yes.
want
Yes.
to support that.
Yes, that's a possibility, absolutely. Right, so we can't discuss this with the community, unfortunately, because
no.
it's not on the agenda. No.
Okay. Anything else? You sure? Okay. Erica, great to have you back.
Yes,
Christopher, great to have you back.
yes,
And got a full crew now.
got a full crew, mostly.
So with that, we're going to move to staff comments. Erica, you're up.
Well, my report will be very short. You know, we're moving into the holidays now, so you know we have our events coming up. Frolic is coming up on October 28th, this Saturday. And then we're also working on tree lighting, which we're calling Tree Lighting Joy Around the World this year. So we will have an expanded program this year. We're excited about that as well. So staff is really working on that. We're trying to get a lot of pieces in place really quickly. We're working with vendors, food people from the community, so it should be a lot of fun this year. And that's all I have, unless you have any questions for me as far as statistics or anything like that.
Seeing none, thank you.
Okay, awesome.
Christopher Henson, Park Superintendent.
Just one item to update. The Brett Field restroom renovations are going to be starting here pretty shortly. And the goal is to get them done before Little League season. And I think we're on track for that. And then I'll take any questions.
Is snack bar getting, is it just the bathrooms or is it the whole building?
The snack bar is getting some work,
Right.
some lighting, I believe, and then also a countertop to meet
Just a little
ADA.
bit
Yes,
Aesthetic stuff,
correct.
new roof probably for the whole thing.
I don't know about the roof. I think a new roof was put on a year or two ago.
Oh, okay, cool,
Yeah.
exciting.
Okay, thank you. Ally, you're up again.
I
Do you
don't-
have anything left?
I don't think I have anything left.
All
No,
right.
I'm just glad to have the staff
I
back,
bet.
and we are going into a busy season. I don't know, I feel like every season's a busy season, but we've got some really big projects. We're still working out the joint use agreement with the school district. If anyone's been following that, it's been a hearty debate that we're still trying to iron out, but I'm feeling positive that we're getting very close. The LPA I mentioned, the plunge project is moving forward. I think that's gonna be coming back to council pretty soon. Yes, we are, thank you. She's good, I have her back. She reminds me of the important things. We are working on our special event permitting process too. We get a lot of special events. And when I say special event permitting, this is third-party organizations that do events in the city, the Rotary, the Kiwanis, whoever it is. We've kind of had a informal process for the last several years, but because they're coming in steadily, and we're really trying to bring uniformity across, how organizations do business with the city. So we're renovating or redoing a lot of that policy and procedure. We've got some new software that's going to be helping us. So it's a busy time. Yes.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
And
I'm glad you
we'll
remembered that.
adjourn to the November 15th, 2023 meeting. I didn't say that.
We will have a lot to talk about.